Hey Christine.
Hey!
Thanks so much for coming to work with me today.
Well, it's been 1 year since we last chatted.
Yeah.
I'm always wanting to ask you this. Do you always grab to work or do you have your own car now?
Yeah, no, actually I don't own a car. I'm actually very blessed to have Grab pick me up. People like Alan, our driver partner, pick me up every day, and for me to just interview them, talk to them,
So
mystery
you're
shop
always
with
in
them.
research mode, are you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there are times when I'm working on my emails and all that
Yeah.
in car, but at the same time, I'm chatting with them. Hey, what are things that we can improve on? And there's nothing like hearing from the ground. As you can see from like all the board pictures, and
So all your state secrets are here.
you might say that. Yeah.
He's grabbing attention. Anthony Tan. His company received a record $2 billion in funding recently from SoftBank and Didi Chuxin, skyrocketing Grab's value to $6 billion. This ride-hailing business is just 5 years old.
We don't disrupt for the sake of disrupting. We focus on what are the main, big, complex problems. So if you look at a customer, whether it's in Malaysia or Singapore, wherever it may be, it was always about how do I get transport as fast, as safe, as affordable as possible.
Are you surprised you've come so far?
Yes, we are surprised, pleasantly surprised, and we all feel extremely grateful and blessed. There you go, a car.
Tan and a classmate from Harvard Business School, Tan Huiling, built Grab from scratch. The last time I spoke to him, he recalled how tough it was enrolling drivers in the beginning.
Whether it's in Changi Airport or any of the airports or at the taxi lines, line by line, knocking window by window and saying, "Uncle, sign up with us." And somebody would take the person's phone, register the phone while I work with the driver, convincing, "Hey, uncle, this is the best fishing net. I'm not going to give you fish, but this fishing net will help you catch many fish." It was that type. It was an extremely humbling experience, but it was necessary because nobody knew of us then.
Southeast Asia is a hot battleground in the ride-sharing war, a traffic-crawling market serving over 600 million people. In this business where margins are razor-thin, where volume is critical for survival, with Uber for a rival, Grab is racing at full speed to raise cash. Are the stakes now higher? Are you going all out now to win market share?
The good news is we've always gone all out. We've never held back. I don't think you can get here by holding back.
You have some pretty impressive investors, SoftBank and Didi Chuxin. Can you confirm whether Jack Ma of Alibaba is one of them?
So we've been very blessed to have tremendous global technology companies like SoftBank, like Didi Chuxin. Are we talking to multiple of these type of global tech companies? We are. We have been talking to them. We continue to talk to them. Everyone in the ecosystem in technology, whether it's in the Valley or in China or in Southeast Asia, are in some way talking and conversing and figuring ways to work together. So that's as much as I can share.
How hard do you have to work to bring in these high-profile investors?
It's surely non-trivial. A lot of it requires obviously showing the financial metrics, right? A lot of it goes about meeting the right people, because in startup investing, if you take their lens, they back winners, right? If you look at Didi Chuxin, you look at SoftBank, they back winners. So they need to meet who are driving the winners. So it's a very personal conversation.
You're under the spotlight all the time.
Yes, yes, and to be fair, they've trusted us. They have trusted and continue to trust us with billions of capital. We have to give them that confidence.
You feeling the pressure?
I love the pressure. I honestly do. I wake up every morning because I embrace the pressure. All that is then engineered, across.
You're an expert at this now.
Well, I don't know about expert, but I just know how to talk. But these guys actually do the work.
His engineers are working at full throttle on a key feature, payments. How much of the money you raise will go towards building up your online payments platform, GrabPay?
I would say, a big, if not majority part of it, really it's all about focused on solving these big problems. The ride hailing problem, I would say, has been solved quite to some extent, if you may agree even. Now, on the second component, which is payments, again, if you think about why payments, one is really, if you think about why we can position ourselves in payments, it's all about use case. If you think about when you pay for something or why you adopt a payment method is because it can be accepted. Grab Pay is very well accepted because of the Grab transport use case. Today, we serve over 3 million customers a day. So today, Grab is the most used app for payments. Now, if you talk about even the Grab points, the Grab rewards, now those rewards can be converted for F&B, can be converted for entertainment.
You're building a whole ecosystem around it.
That's right. The whole idea is really how do you be so relevant to our customers in Southeast Asia where now they wake up in the morning, yes, they book a ride, they pay using that ride, but now we want somebody to pay for their coffee using Grab Pay.
How big do you reckon this e-payment market is going to be in Southeast Asia?
It's massive. If you look at payments and you look at financial services, you're looking at $500 billion at least across Southeast Asia.
And you want to be a big part of that. Do you want to be the Alipay of Southeast Asia? Is that your ambition?
I think how we think about it is, again, is this a big enough problem? Is it prevalent and really relevant to the customers of Southeast Asia? And yes, payments is very relevant. How do you give them access to safe payments? How do you give them access to credit? How do you give them access to the financial system that right now serves only the A-B segment, the top of the pyramid? How do you have the bottom of the pyramid have the equal access? And that we believe GrabPay can serve.
In April this year, you recently bought over Indonesia's leading e-commerce company, Kudo. From transportation, you're now getting into retail?
Well, Grab is evolving, clearly. Transport, solving, clearly the market leader. Now moving into what are the other problems? We look at Kudo not really only as a e-commerce company. We look at it as a company that has helped and will continue to help millions bring them from offline to online. So we had to buy and partner Kudo to go offline to bring them online. So they go to customers in Kalimantan or Papua, wherever it may be, tier 2, tier 3 cities, and they help the local guys who've never had access to online marketplaces, whether they are Tokopedia, whatever they may be, have this access. And just to give you a quick story, one of the best sharings that they had with me was they said, look, here's a customer. This customer used to buy a wok, a cooking essential, at 50% premium compared to the average customer in Jakarta. And because of Kudo, now they could give that money to the agent into the Grab Kudo wallet, and they could then access all these online marketplaces and have them delivered to them at 50% cheaper. Why should a customer in Kalimantan be penalized for being far away from the central markets, right? Just an example, right? And that's where we felt, look, that's the other big problem that we can really solve.
Are you open to any more acquisitions in this space? Is this something
Very
you're looking
open.
at?
We're very open.
What are you looking to acquire?
We're looking to acquire technology. We're looking to acquire data science teams. We really want great founders like the Kudo founders, right? Very local. They're very aligned to our purpose, right? Of solving very big problems for underserved, underbanked communities. So how do we think about them? We look at the founders. Are they culturally aligned? Are they sharp? Are they hungry? Do they want to make a big difference? Do they have strong engineering? And that's why we went with companies like Kudo. And we'll continue to look for companies like Kudo.
And this is across Southeast Asia?
Especially in Indonesia, across Southeast Asia.
You talking to anyone at the moment?
Talking to many, many parties.
Well, in the last 5 years, Grab has become Southeast Asia's leading ride-hailing platform. You're now in more than 80 cities across 7 countries in the region. Like many of your rivals, you're still subsidizing your drivers and your users as you continue to fight for market share.
Yes.
What's the cash burn rate like?
First of all, it's an investment. We look at it as, if you think about telcos, right? When telcos first had to start, name Singtel or whatever it may be, these great companies had to build sort of the fiber optic networks on the ground, right? In the same way, when we think about building the driver network or the agent network for Kudo, whatever it may be, it requires investment. So what we did was we really brought them on, again, we had to go offline, sign them up at kopitiams or at, all the centers wherever they were hanging out and bring them online. And through time, there are some segments that don't require any subsidy at all. And there are some segments that are new that need to be brought online. For example, in the early days, we had to subsidize and bring smartphones to them. Then we microfinance the smartphones. Today, we've even gone so far as we microfinance the cars to them, some of them, right? And again, certain segments are actually profitable. So it depends which segments you're talking about.
So what's your cash burn rate like typically across the segments? Give me an example.
There's
across the different countries.
It really depends.
It ranges from?
In certain countries, very, very low.
What is low?
Actually, in certain countries, certain verticals are actually profitable. So I don't have an exact figure for you, but I can say that yes, we are still in an investment mode, and where we will be, as the industry continues to consolidate, as a global industry continues to grow, what we can say is that there's a clear path to profitability.
Let's talk about that, because Uber, your rival, has said they are already profitable in some markets in Asia. Is your outlook for profitability improving?
Yes.
To what extent?
Very much so. In fact, if you look at the subsidies, it's dropped between 50% to 100% every 6 months.
So give us a projection. How much is your revenue now, and how much would you have to grow revenue to become profitable in future? Have you got a calculation, timetable made out for yourself?
I mean, look, I think in the end, every business, no matter how socially inclined it is, by definition as a business, must be profitable, right? Now, how do we think about profitability is first investment phase, and we're still in that investment phase.
Are you towards the end of the investment phase?
I do see, I would say in ride hailing, it's nearing the end of the investment phase. Probably the third stage of the investment phase, right? If you think about it being 4 or 5 stages, I would say it is in the third stage.
So what sort of time frame are you looking at to be profitable? Everybody wants to know.
Goals by vertical by vertical. Certain cities are already profitable. Certain cities will be profitable by next month, for example.
Don't go away. More with Anthony Tan, Group CEO of Grab, in just a moment.
There are sort of our higher value segments that really, they don't want to jump on a bike, but they're willing to pay premium. And that premium is a chopper.
Managing Asia, we'll be right back.
Still watching? Perfect. Click here to watch another great video from CNBC International. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.